We people tend to live our lives in a way, and also our brain works in a way that we don't notice a lot of the things that are happening around us. Take, for instance, this moment. Can you tell how many different colors do you see around you? How many different sounds can you hear? So one can say that we live almost as on autopilot. And when we stop in this moment to look, to listen, to taste, to use any of our senses, to focus on our sensations, we can shift off the autopilot. And this means that on top of the autopilot, our mind has a different mode of operating. And this is being present in this moment. There are 3 modes of mind: being, doing, and driven doing. And a lot of the time, we use the doing mode. This is when we focus on what we have to do, what's our goal, where to go next, when we do things without really being present in the moment. And this gets things done, so it's not a bad mode, it's a really useful one. But problems arise when we shift to the driven doing mode. And this means that we cannot let go of what we have to do. We cannot stop doing. And also, if we're in the doing mode all the time, we miss a lot of things that we could experience if we stopped and gave ourselves time to experience those things. And in the being mode, we can experience those things. This is when we stop. This is when we give ourselves time to focus on what's around us, focus on our sensations, to feel our feelings, and just be present in this moment, here and now, without thinking ahead, without problem solving, without focusing on what needs to be done next. We can do anything, both in the doing mode and the being mode. Take, for example, walking. Imagine you're walking from place A to place B, from work to home, or from the bus stop to work, or whatever. And if you're in the doing mode, probably you'll focus on that you need to get from place A to place B, and you're focusing on how to get there fast, or your mind might be working on your problems at the same time. It might be focusing on future worries, it might be focusing on the day ahead of you, what you need to get done. And all of a sudden, you might find yourself in place B, and you didn't notice much anything while you were walking. You didn't notice the people around you, you didn't notice the footpath. Maybe you didn't notice, was it raining or not? And in the being mode, it can be a very different experience. So if you're walking from place A to place B, you're just walking. You might feel how the ground feels beneath your feet. You might notice trees and people around you. Maybe you'll hear birds sing, or maybe you'll feel the rain dropping down. And your mind is not in the future, your mind is not in the past, but your mind is open for everything that's happening around you in that moment. So what does all of this have to do with depression? Well, when we feel bad, when we feel feelings that we don't want to feel, our mind automatically tries to get rid of those feelings. It tries to problem solve the situation, as if it was solving some kind of a practical issue. We're in the doing mode. But unfortunately, feelings like this cannot be solved the same way, but nevertheless, the mind keeps on trying. It keeps on trying and trying and trying. And this is when we shift to driven doing mode. In the driven doing mode, the mind tries its hardest. It does everything it can to get rid of the unpleasant, unwanted, negative, difficult feelings. And this might lead to excessive and non-stop thinking. You keep on thinking, you keep on going back to old memories and to future worries. And these thoughts, the memories and the worries, they bring up even more difficult feelings. And on the other hand, the driven doing mode might lead to almost paralyzing when you realize that you actually can't avoid the feeling that you're trying to avoid. The good news is that by learning to pay attention to your internal world, to your own thoughts and feelings and the way your mind operates, you can learn to notice when your mind tries to problem solve your feelings that cannot be solved in that way. And then you can learn in those moments to shift the mode of mind. So when you learn to shift from the driven doing mode or the doing mode to the being mode, you allow yourself space and time to experience your experiences as they are. And in the being mode, even these difficult feelings and thoughts can be a part of life. And you can even look at them in a curious way, like, oh, I'm having this kind of a thought, oh, this kind of a feeling. It doesn't mean that the difficult feelings and thoughts don't matter, but it means that your experience is valuable. You value whatever it is that you're feeling. And you don't have to change it. It can just be whatever it is. So the being mode allows us to be present in this moment instead of in our heads. It allows us to experience this moment instead of thinking about this moment. And this might open whole new levels, layers, colors in life that maybe you haven't noticed while living in the doing mode.